I have all kinds of sweet weaponry, like a bow staff, bow and arrow, bow katan. Don't act like you're not impressed. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today I want to talk about the hierarchy of importance of these different farms, because I get this question so much lately. Should I just be going for Leia instead of one of these new Galactic Legends that are suddenly farmable? Should I be looking at Leviathan? So we're going to look at that. I do want to, real quick, say huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all of your support. Truly appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do. And a reminder, folks, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment. Guys, we are very close to getting to 20k subs. It would be amazing if we could get to 20k subs by the end of the year. I know that's not likely, but let's try for it if we can. That would be amazing. So real quick, let's go to a slideshow and talk about all of these things here. So there's lots going on, honestly, guys. So Leia is here. Everything for her is farmable, and the raid is about to be here in probably less than a month is our initial guess. Who knows? We haven't heard much from CG on that front. Bo-Katan, the Mandalore, is going to be released, and she's going to be amazing in PvP. She's also being released with other characters that are very intriguing, that could also bolster different corners of our roster. And Leviathan is here, has been here for a little bit, but its impact can't really be denied in a lot of different places. Zepho is more accessible because Jedi Knight Cal just was released again, the event, and probably, my guess is it'll be released again in 2 months, somewhere around Christmas, because that's what CG tends to do, and that will be the 6-month anniversary or whatever of when he was released in the first place. So probably worth kind of looking forward to that, is my guess. And then also we have those bundles that were released a month ago, and Rey and Supreme Leader Kylo are suddenly very farmable. And the number 5 one is really the one we're gonna be focusing on a lot in the later stages of this video. But for now, we're gonna kind of ignore that part just to kind of get these other things out. So if you guys want to look at my thoughts on how to stay current and everything, you can go check out this video. I think this was about 10 days ago. That's what YouTube is telling me that I released it. So I try to release one of these once every month or two so that you guys can see what my priority list is. But you guys can go find this. This is just a thumbnail of the video that I put out for it. And so I don't want to rehash everything that this video is going to, that it covers. And so what I'm going to say, though, is we're going to give you kind of a Spark Notes version of it. So what's the most important? GLA and other Galactic Legends, we should say. Leviathan, Bo-Katan, the Mandalore, or Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Which ones should we kind of choose over the other one? And I mean, if you really boil it down to what each of them means, Galactic Legend Leia is going to be good in the raid, also going to be dominant in PvP. Leviathan, very good for your crystals. Consistently 400 crystals per day is nothing to scoff at. Bo-Katan, really, it looks like she's only going to be good in PvP, just like the other December releases, like Starkiller and Afra. And, I mean, that's nothing to scoff at, though, because those two kill a lot of Galactic Legends, and my guess is Bo-Katan will be able to do the same. Jedi Cal, really strong in every game mode. He just boosts the Jedi faction by a huge margin. He's pretty amazing, honestly, guys. Also really good in getting you to Zepho, and Zepho is gonna be the place where you get all your extra Kyro tech, which is the bottleneck a lot of us have. Obviously, we have signal data, we have bronzium wiring, or carbonite, whatever they're called, CCBs. And so, a lot of bottlenecks, but Jedi Cal helps break one of those pretty wide open, in my opinion, and Kyrotech is just gone. So, the thing you have to remember, though, folks, is what's the most important game mode? And people like to think, oh, I don't need fleets. I don't need fleets, and, the corpses of my enemies in Erodium are usually left there because It's not because they have a bigger roster. I mean, I have a bigger roster. I don't. They have way more GLs. They have more everything. It's because they don't have good fleets. Fleets are important everywhere, guys. They are paramount to your success. They are incredibly important, not only to be getting you those consistent 400 crystals per day, also you're getting more crystals because you're winning more in GAC, and you're going to be able to elevate yourself way above a lot of opponents. If you put Leviathan on defense and your guy can't beat it, and you can beat his fleet, I mean, obviously it's important. And I mean, I don't find much joy in fleets. Frankly, guys, you can probably tell by all the different content I put out. Yes, I'll put out ship videos, but not my very favorite. And I still have to acknowledge, crazy important. Like, all of your, if you think about it like this, guys, all of your crystals that you get come through fleets. That's, I mean, GAC, if you lose in GAC because of fleets, that you don't get crystals. If you don't win in squad or in fleet arena and get crystals, it's because you don't win. You don't have a good fleet. Obviously, that's probably the most obvious thing I've ever felt like I needed to say. So, Leviathan should come number one, in my opinion. I know that not everyone's gonna have even access to farm Malgus and his ship, the Fury Interceptor. I hate the way they're releasing these, that like conquest characters. Love that they're releasing them to everyone to be able to earn them early, kind of. But then after that, Proving Ground farm is so miserable, guys, and I hate it. I don't know what to do about it. It's not accessible, but if you don't have Leviathan, you should be looking at trying to farm it at some point as soon as you can. Now, Jedi Cal, just do your best in fleets, basically, guys. Prioritize Leviathan as much as it makes sense to do. Now, Jedi Cal, yes, he's very important. The thing is, his requirements aren't that onerous, to be honest. I mean, yes, he needs a bunch of Kyrotech just to get characters to gear 12, but then you don't have to get them to gear 13. Some of them you'll want to, but to just get Jedi Cal, it's not that tough, guys. And the thing is, I've shown in other videos that you can just farm him concurrently with other characters. Like, I've been working on him, plus a ton of other stuff on my other accounts, and I'll try to link some of those videos in the video description. If you're interested, you can check out my previous updates for the account that I'm about to show you guys. Now, I did update my infographic to include the Leia requirements, and we obviously don't know what the Mandalore Catan character is going to be costing, but a slightly larger view of this is just, it just shows Carbanti and Kyrotech. Obviously, they require other gear, but just a snapshot of the most consistent gear that's required for all the different characters involved. And so Leia is pretty expensive compared to all the other GLs for the most part, but then I'm also comparing other Galactic Legend level characters and unlocks like Starkiller, Grand Inquisitor, Aphra, Jedi Cal, etc., and even the 3 fleets. And so you guys can find this infographic on my Discord server if you're interested. It's for free, link in the video description, and you find it in the Infographics channel, guys. So yeah, it's updated if you want to see it. Now, if we look at it a little bit closer here, then, oh, I closed the wrong thing. Okay, so comparing Leia with the December release characters from the last 2 years, Starkiller and Aphra, they obviously, she has a way bigger Carbanti footprint, but Kyrotech, honestly, once you take into account that a lot of her requirements are in fact already done on a ton of different accounts out there, because her requirements are so friendly and easy for the most part, a lot of the Kyrotech is really already spoken for. She's got a very similar requirement for Kyrotech as what I would project Bo-Katan to cost. We don't know what she's going to cost, but if she's something similar to Starkiller and Aphra, she's not going to go far from what the Kyrotech requirements are going to be. So, for the most part, I would say that they're very similar in terms of cost. Yeah, Carbanti, if Leia is your first Galactic Legend, then that might end up being a little more daunting than trying to get Bo-Katan. The thing is, let's say that they're a tie. Let's just say, okay, in terms of how much it costs, all the gear, all the Kyrotech, let's say that they're a draw. They cost the exact same. The hard truth, I mean, for most people, and this is probably the dumbest argument anyone has ever had to make, Leia is obviously going to be way more important than Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan, I think you can just skip, because, I mean, we don't know that for sure, but Aphra, really love what she does, the impact that she makes, but she killed all these galactic legends, and she's not required for a single thing other than a couple forgettable nodes in the Rise of the Empire territory battle. Starkiller doesn't even have nodes in territory battles. He does kill galactic legends. He's probably my favorite character in terms of the squad use in GAC, and he's also really good in territory wars, but also not that relevant in other game modes. And yeah, I know that they're strong, but they're not required. They don't have any overlap, really, not much at least. And they're fine in other game modes, but you're gonna find that Leia is way more impactful on so many levels. And so Bo-Katan, I assume, is going to be very similar. Do we know that for sure? No, but that's my guess. That's what we're going to have to assume. So the real question is, how do we farm Leia when it comes to when she's butting heads with and in competition with Supreme Leader Kylo, with Rey, because you can buy packs and get so close to being able to farm these characters? Which one should we unlock first? And so let's jump into the game here, guys, and I'll show you guys my account that's been going through this. Whoa, we're in the game madness. Whoa, okay, so this is my middle account. This is Professor X, and so I have 3 Galactic Legends. Well, I had 3, now I have 4, because Rey was immediately farmable for me once I bought those bundles recently for $10 or whatever, and she was suddenly just, hey, let's start our Rey farm, like, immediately. So I have Rey, she's only 3 Zetas, but she is here. I had 3 Galactic Legends, otherwise I was in, so we do the big game hunting, which is like doing all the off-meta stuff, trying to hunt these bigger accounts and the huge squads that are in them. So I'm in Kyber 2, and I don't get into Kyber 1, but I also just never fall into Kyber 3 as well. And so we do well. 3 Galactic Legends versus 7 is pretty consistent, guys, and I still beat those guys because, I mean, it's fun. The off-meta is great. But instead, we're going to be transforming this account from 3 Galactic Legends to 7 in the course of a few months. And so the old Galactic Legends, before those bundles were released, I had the 2 Jedi ones and Jabba. Now I did unlock Rey as well. I just applied her ultimate just earlier tonight, and then Jedi Cal is what I unlocked him alongside all these other things because I've been working on those requirements. Now, we don't have any of these other ones, but I'm very close to getting all of them. In fact, like, Lord Vader's probably the farthest away, but we've got a lot of relics here, guys. We're way closer than I had thought. Insanity, that's the farthest one. Sith Eternal Emperor, just by happenstance, I only need 2 characters. I only need Krennic and Darth Sidious, and so, wow, and then I need a few relic levels, but, I mean, I even got Relic 7 on Emperor Palpatine, because, look at this, Supreme Leader Kylo, he's ready now, guys. I can farm him, I can farm tickets for him right this instant. We have Crew and OG Kylo, who they only needed Relic 5 to 7, and then they needed Emperor Palpatine from 5 to 7, and look at that, were ready for Supreme Leader Kylo. And so, the Leia requirements, though, I'm also very close to them, and you can see I have Nisa all the way farmed, Captain Rex all the way farmed, Scout Trooper pretty dang close, Drogon in Cantina also pretty dang close, and so we can. I should just point out, Aphra farm, I also have half of her stuff finished, and BB or 000 fake C-3PO is also pretty ready. I mean, gosh, Sana, worthless Sana. Well, she's Cantina unlocked. I'll probably unlock her, or probably farm her once she goes to whatever it's called, the bonus drops. I'm just totally forgetting what it's called, guys. Accelerated, perhaps. So we're all really close. GLA, though, like, all I need are, I don't know, 30 relic levels on these characters and a little bit of gear. And a lot of people have honestly, and this is the thing that a lot of people have been asking, is like, should I just go for Leia? Should other people in my similar situation, should you just go for Leia instead and ignore Supreme Leader Kylo. It's not like you needed him before, you weren't planning on farming him. Or should I go for Rey? We weren't farming her either. And just go for Leia, because Leia is important. She's going to be good for the raid. She's going to be good for stuff. And frankly, you should be working on your raid stuff. I mean, that's probably a responsible thing to do. Whether it's, you know, your guild really, it's going to help your guild, or you're trying to get into a better guild for that matter. I mean, a lot of guilds are going to say, oh, you have Leia? Yeah, you can join. I don't really care about your GP otherwise. So a lot of people have just assumed, hey, you're really close to the Kylo farm. But, I mean, you're close to Leia, too. Why aren't you going for Leia? And I guess the thing is, for me, the most obvious thing is I should probably just work on, well, hold on a sec. Let's see. To me, it seemed like the most obvious thing ever. I should work on Supreme Leader Kylo, because at the end of the day, yes, Leia is going to be impactful in other game modes more than Supreme Leader Kylo, but I'm still farming Leia. I still need some of these characters and stuff, and so I can be working on getting Kylo ready, at least some. Like, we're not going to spend all of our Zetas on him necessarily, but he is going to... you know, Supreme Leader Kylo's he's a galactic legend, guys, and so to me that's fairly obvious. I've actually met with way more resistance to this idea than I had expected. Very, very surprising to me, in fact. And so, anyways, yes, I'm going to be farming Supreme Leader Kylo, and I'll show you my plan for it, actually, because it's a little sneaky. The thing that you need to keep in mind here, folks, is also Sith Eternal Emperor is very close as well. Closer, in fact, in Relics, in all the different things. I could farm Sith Eternal Emperor before I was done, or before I got Leia as well, and I'd get him faster than Leia. The thing is, I think I'm going to go in the order that you guys see it in. I think I'm going to go for Kylo first, because all it is one character. Yes, 700 Kyrotech, 400 Carbanti on his own. Tons and tons. He needs his ultimate mats, he needs all this stuff. But then... honestly, Sith Eternal Emperor, yes, he's going to make an impact. He's not nearly as impactful as Leia, and I think the sweet middle ground is going to be that Leia, once I get everything farmed, we need to start working on her. We need to be able to. We can't just keep delaying it, and I think that's kind of the sweet middle ground, guys, is we're not just going from easiest farm to easiest farm immediately. I mean, we did with Rey, and now we're doing with Kylo, but then I am going to skip Sith Eternal Emperor just a little bit. Yeah, we're going to get him right after Leia as well, but we're going to get Leia first, because why wouldn't we, frankly? I mean, Leia is going to be crazy impactful, and honestly, the gear spread from these characters, like the difference, isn't going to be that much. Plus, I mean, we do need to be working on stuff for the Endor raid. We can't keep putting it off. So I think we're going to start working on Leia after that. So the other thing I want to show you guys, though, is what order are we going to be doing things with Kylo and Leia. So, I mean... I don't really know the exact time frame for all of this stuff, guys, but I assume we're going to be able to unlock Kylo, and then maybe we'll start working on the ultimate mats. However, once we get to the point where we can unlock Leia, we'll probably try to just farm her tickets, even if Kylo doesn't have his ultimate. Then, because Leia kills all the other galactic legends without an ultimate, we can just skip her ultimate for a little bit, go back, start working on Kylo's ultimate, and then start working on the Leia ultimate after that. I mean, I don't know exactly if it's going to fall out that precise way, but to me, just because we're working on Kylo doesn't mean we can't pivot just a little bit to be working on Leia if she becomes available a little bit sooner than I anticipate. So, I mean, to me, this is a more practical way of approaching things, of, you know, just because I have Leia kind of available pretty soon, we can start working on her stuff in probably a month or less. That doesn't mean it's a good idea. Probably just go for the high impact character in Kylo, and you know, who's ready right immediately, that almost costs nothing to get ready, and then work on Leia, because she'll be high impact, but then we'll be done with the farms. We don't have any awkward delaying points, and we can go straight from Kylo immediately into Leia, and then Sith Eternal Emperor can be our final Galactic Legend. Then we'll have 7 Galactic Legends plus Jedi Cal, and we'll have them all in like 4-ish months from when I started, which is just such an insane thing for this account, guys. Anyways, that's the thought. Let me go finish with one final slide here, guys. And that's just, keep in mind, if you're doing a raid for your guild, if you're like, man, I have to farm Leia because my guild needs me to do it, unless your whole guild is working on Leia, I don't want to presume anything, but just keep in mind, sometimes guilds will just rely on one person, and I mean, that's gonna build resentment, and it's not gonna be a healthy thing anyways. If you're just working on Leia just so you're like, oh, my guild really needs me, and you look at their guild and no one's even working on Leia, everyone's just hanging out doing whatever, they're farming Phoenix or something. I mean, not a bad choice, but probably not that relevant. I mean, maybe for the new raid, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, but I mean, just keep in mind, guys, you need your whole guild to buy in on it, and if you're just working on Leia just for the raid, it needs to match the output of your other guildmates. That's all. So, what are your thoughts, folks? What should be prioritized? I've been getting a lot more pushback on working on Kylo before getting Leia done, and it's surprising to me. To me, it makes a ton of sense. I would love to hear thoughts, though, so thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth prevails.